Welcome to Solvang. It's also known as the Danish capital of America. We're only about 2.5 hours north of Los Angeles. You go from the mecca of film and television, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a living fairy tale-like setting. The building behind me was built in 1911.
But it's much more than just a building. It's a remnant of the origins of Solvang.
Back then, a few dozen Danes, led by 2 pastors and a professor, came from the Midwest in search of a place they could establish a Danish colony and preserve their culture. So they bought 9,000 acres here in California, Solvang today.
The story about the introduction of Danish architecture in the area is quite an interesting one. Returning soldiers from World War II from the European theater came back with a renewed sense of pride for their Danish roots. They heard about the heroic exploits of the local population to protect the Jewish population in Denmark. What they did was they hid them in the countryside and then eventually smuggled them out onto fishing boats headed to Sweden. More than 90% of the Jewish population in Denmark was able to escape the Nazi Holocaust. And for that, those soldiers came back, wanted to show off their Danish roots through the architecture. That's why you see a lot of half-timbered buildings.
Before the Danes arrived, the only European presence in the area was the Santa Inés Mission. It was founded in 1804 by Catholic priests from Spain, and it's the 19th of 21 Spanish missions in California.
Many of the buildings back then resembled the typical Western building, except with a Spanish flair, influenced by the nearby Spanish mission. As if there's not enough things to take a picture of, check out the Round Tower. It's a 1/3 scale model of a Danish observatory that was built in 1642.
Another reminder of Solvang's Danish roots, this dragon-tailed spire is a replica of the one that sits on top of the old stock exchange in Copenhagen.
Walk around Solvang and it's really tempting just to look at the storefronts and not to look up, but you should because you're going to miss out. If you look up, you'll see wooden storks on top of the rooftops. Those wooden storks represent good fortune and protection from evil spirits. And the merchants added some wagon wheels because back in Denmark, those wagon wheels help with the nesting of storks. Another reason to look up are the weather vanes. They're sitting atop the copper roofs, and they represent Viking themes and themes from fairy tales of Hans Christian Andersen.
Solvang has been nicknamed Little Denmark since a 1947 article in the Saturday Evening Post came out. It's appropriate that there's a statue of Hans Christian Andersen. He's the father of the fairy tale and Denmark's favorite son. If you want to see an actual Danish home, come to the Elverhoj Museum.
It's a great representation of a Danish farmhouse from the 18th century.
It's a little bit out of town and it's only open from Thursday to Sunday. But it gives you a sense of what one looks like. It took 5 years for the owner to build this home. He used no nails. The brick comes from the Spanish mission nearby. And how did that happen? When the bell tower got damaged during a storm, the local Danes helped the Spanish mission get that bell tower up and running again. So to thank the Danes, the mission said, please take whatever materials you need. Elverhoj took some bricks and incorporated it into his home. I'm told that the Danish culture is all about repurpose and renew. So using bricks from a Spanish mission is in keeping with that.
In 2011, Solvang's Centennial celebration welcomed the Prince Consort of Denmark. They installed this brick to commemorate the occasion. The country of Denmark has recognized the importance of Solvang. The Queen of Denmark has been here a couple of times, and the Danish pavilion from the 1915 World's Fair in San Francisco gave this gift of a wind harp to the city.
One of the many reasons people love to come to Solvang are the baked goods, and there are bakeries galore on every street. Which one to pick, though? Well, there's 4 that have been certified by the Danish Bakers Guild back in Denmark. And the way you know which ones they are, there's a crown on their insignia. I'm told we need to eat some of the local fare. I'm going to take it to go.
I hope you enjoyed this visit to Solvang. I was actually looking for something more immersive to share with you, but that doesn't happen till the third full weekend in September. It's called Danish Days, and it's filled with 3 days of parades and music, dancing, activities for the kids. That includes an exhibit for Legos, because Legos was invented in Denmark. But come then, or come any other time of year, I promise you will have a great time. Thanks for joining me on Mary Goes Round the World.